Morning folks, welcome to Tuesday. Let me just do a quick update for you and go through what we're in and what we're out of. A couple of changes today. Let's go through the Forex majors. We have nothing on the euro and the pound. These are day charts, so look how range this has been, particularly the pound. We essentially haven't moved anywhere on the pound since the end of November. We moved up a little bit and we've just been going sideways. This does look a little toppish to me, and also on the euro. So in line with the dollar index, these might move down. Looking at the dollar index, I think we've got a potential move higher. We've got a consolidation pattern here. We had a downward trend. We broke out of the trend line, consolidated in a bull flag, rallied up, consolidated again in a bull flag, and today is the first day that we've exited this bull flag pattern, which is the same length as the previous one. Notice we've also got a megaphone, so we could potentially get to the top of the megaphone and then down. Megaphone is a reversal pattern. Alternatively, this megaphone might just be nonsense, and we might have to push up for another leg higher similar to this one. And that took us from 102.70 to 103.50. We're currently at 103.50, so we could go another 100 higher. That would take us up to 104.50 around this Fibonacci level, the 100-period moving average. And if it takes a little bit of time, potentially the top of the megaphone too. So for now, we have no trades on the Forex majors except for the dollar yen, which I'm expecting to move down. Check out some of the previous videos on this, but we do have a megaphone pattern here as well. It's getting very broad very rapidly, so this is going to be sort of null and void. But there's a potential we could try to test the top of that and the top of this red zone before moving down around about 150 or just above that. But my favorite path is a move lower from here, down through these moving averages, the 20 and the 50 and the 200 way below us down here, below the bottom of the megaphone. So we're short on that one, and we're also short on the Swiss yen, and a similar sort of thing. I wouldn't pay much attention to this rising channel because it's very short term and it's very narrow and very steep. If we get rid of that, you can see where the support levels are below us, and I think we're going to continue to move down. We're incredibly overbought on the daily, weekly and monthly charts, and this needs to pull back down quite a lot. When the dollar yen gets moving downwards, this should move down with it, as will some of the other yen crosses like the euro yen, the Aussie yen, the CAD yen, etc. In the stock markets, these are our entry positions on Nasdaq short, Nvidia short, and Apple short. These all look like topping patterns. We also had an abandoned baby on Nvidia and AMD. Actually, yesterday's move was quite a sharp rally against the overall downtrend that we try to see develop. On the Nasdaq, we only retraced 78.6% of the move down from the top where we got in, so that's okay so far. On Nvidia, we haven't closed above the top of that abandoned baby candle right there. As long as we close beneath that high, and that's at about 628 to 630, we should be okay. As I said in pre-market now, we're around about 630, so we're still in this trade. And with a bit of luck, the 630 to 633 region will be the high. I can't see it on these charts until the market opens. We did try a long on Tesla actually last week, and unfortunately got stopped out at break even. We bought literally right at the bottom of this drop after the earnings, and it moved around a bit during that day, but it didn't bounce until yesterday, as you can see. So as a result, we got in and we got out at break even after a couple of hours. So unfortunately, we missed out on that little rally on Tesla. All right, on metals, we're long on gold from quite a long time ago, more than a month now, and that's holding up quite well. We have nothing on silver. We're looking to buy UEC on dips down to the support level, and we're long on URA, and that's looking pretty good. There's our long entry price. The only other metal I want to point out is copper. We did take a short trade on copper. Let's have a look at this. So this is the copper daily chart. You can see where all the support levels are and the resistance level. We're actually right in the middle of a long-term range, and the probabilities either way are not good. So I've taken a small short position on copper at around about 387. And that's based on the idea that we may get a drop-off in demand as we approach the middle of this year. My target for copper is down at about $3, maybe $3.20 to start with. And our stop loss is above the swing high. If we zoom in on the daily chart, actually it looks a little bit like a head and shoulders, as you can see. If I draw a head and shoulders pattern in there, and you could draw it from this low here or this low here. Let's just do it from this one to keep things simple. And we can just draw it in like this. This is very rough and it's not perfect. So that's the head and shoulders, and a measured move on this would take us down to one of these two green zones at the bottom, either at around about 360 or 350. If I switch to the weekly chart on copper, you can see that we're just holding above the 200-week moving average. So that's a little bit bullish. There's the 50 as well in red, but we're below the 100-period moving average. And in this example, I'd rather use that as our resistance level, and a close above these highs would take us out of the trade. You can see where our targets are down here at 350 and 360. But if we zoom out, you can see the longer term targets down here actually below $3. If we do see a big drop off in demand in industry and electrics and electronics, then we could see copper visiting down below the $3 level. This is a small trade. I like the big drop down. I like this consolidation triangle that we're in now on the weekly chart. It's a very long-term consolidation starting in 2022. But you can see if I take a measured move and I use this as the flagpole, let's measure it from the top. That's $5 down to about $3.20. So that's a $1.80 move. And if we replicate that from where we are at the moment, that would take us all the way down to $2 actually in the long-term bottom of this big range. I'm not suggesting that we'll get that far, but we could get to $2.80 to $3. Remember, this is just a very small trade. I've got quite a tight stop loss, and it's a speculative trade, and it's a slight hedge against my long gold position too. So commodities, I'm not going to talk a lot about natural gas because I think I'll do another video on that today a little bit later on, and I will do that, I promise. So I'm going to go through this very quickly and not spend a lot of time on it, but I will do a natural gas video update later. Soybean, we're holding above that support level. We've talked about it quite a lot. We're either going to hold the support here at the 618 fib, and that's around about 1180, or we're going to have to go a bit lower and visit these lower support levels. We're long at the green arrow, and as you can see, we've dropped down a wee bit, down to the bottom of this level. If we can hold here today and see a bounce, we should get to the top of the channel, but I'm not holding my breath for that one. We have nothing on sugar. On natural gas, I've got my broker chart here over at Black Bull, and that's representing the Henry Hub futures price, the March contract now, and this is the Oanda ETF price on the top right-hand side of the screen. We'll cover those in the next video. I've got nothing on wheat, nothing on cocoa, potentially looking to sell cocoa if we get up to about 4,800. We're not trading Brent crude, but we are trading WTI, and this is our position at the moment. I've still got a long position from $70.40. I've now hedged that equally. We've got $8 profit locked in on this trade, and I haven't quite decided what to do. My overall idea is that we still might get up into this pink zone around about $80 to $84, and then shift direction to short, taking us down into the 60s and potentially the 50s. So I hedged at $78.10 with a short position equal to the long position. So we've got about a 12% profit locked in here. I don't know which way this is going to go. I'm willing to wait for this to play out during the rest of this week. Whereafter and during which process I'll start to decide how to adjust this hedge. Right, we have nothing on the 10-year yield. We're long on VIX-Y. That's moving up. There's our long position moving up a wee bit. Slight profit on there. We have nothing on Coinbase. We were shorting from the top at the beginning of the month, but we've now exited those shorts. Potentially we could look to short a little higher up in the 160 region. And we've also just taken 30% of our profit on Bitcoin. We were long from 39,700 and I took profit at 43,450. I've only taken 30% off this trade. It's a long-term hold. I'm looking for new all-time highs, but I don't think it's going to be a straight line. There's going to be a lot of zigzagging and jiggity-jaggedy stuff along the way. And I'll continue to look to add on dips, and especially that 30%, which I took off just now for profit. And finally, the South African Rand against the dollar and against the pound. It's an everlasting short on the South African Rand, and we're long on these charts as a consequence. I've covered these before. It's perhaps a good opportunity to go long on the pound South African Rand and perhaps the dollar South African Rand when we get closer to this trend line. And finally, I'm just going to show you the trade report from TradeMetria. These results are taken directly from a live trading account. The results here reflect that live account, and the live account reflects exactly the same trades and trade ideas that are put up in my members area. This account also represents the trades I take on my managed accounts. I'm going to scroll through this very quickly. It's a very small account, but these are live trades, and you can pause the video to have a look at whatever you want to. Well, I hope you found that useful. Look out for the Nat Gas video a little bit later on. Have a fantastic trading day, and I'll speak to you soon.